We're back, and with me now on Community Hotline is a regular guest who has now become practically my co-host here. This is Tim Park. He is the Sandy Actors Theater and Readers Theater Gresham. Thanks for being on again, Tim.
Thank you.
It's always fun having you because you, well, as an actor, you have such great skills
presence,
and
yes,
presence,
yes,
but yeah, but also you have such fun shows that you're involved in. I love hearing about them. So, are we going to talk tonight about the Sandy Actors Theater or the Readers Theater Gresham?
We're going to talk about both.
Well,
okay, we'll start with Sandy Actors Theater because right now we just opened our show this past weekend, and it's a very funny, enjoyable, light, bright comedy, which I happen to be pretty prejudiced about because I'm also the director.
Well, oh my, yes. Well, it better be good then, right?
Well, I hope so.
Yes. So you're directing A Barrel Full of Pennies.
Yes.
So who's this play by?
It's by John Patrick. He's not all that well known anymore.
You've done quite a few of his, so haven't you?
This is last year we did Curious Savage,
right,
which was by him. And that's the first time I was really introduced to him, and I really liked the whole show. Very funny characters, great laugh lines, quirky situations, and then a lot of heart underneath to the whole show. And I find that each one of his plays are like that. And then it happened that Nuts and Bolts Theater did a show by him in the fall called A Bad Year for Tomatoes. Oh, yes. And then we're doing A Barrel Full of Pennies right now, and then we will be doing a Readers Theater by him in May called The Hasty Heart. Oh, well, there you go. So, yeah, and he is a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright. He wrote mostly from like 1945 to 1970. His most famous play was called The Tea House of the August Moon.
I'm sure he'd be very honored to know that you're doing all these plays of his.
It wasn't really planned that way, but
it worked out that way.
He's become sort of the playwright of the hour for us.
Good. Well, so tell me about A Barrel Full of Pennies. What's the premise of that?
It's about a quirky family that takes in anyone and everything that has a need. Their last name is Samaritan, for obvious reasons.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
And are we talking not just
and we're not
humans?
just people, no. They take in animals and birds and canaries and pigeons, dogs, and it's been quite an interesting show to put together because we actually have 5 dogs.
Oh, really?
In the play.
You use live dogs.
We do.
Oh, my. You have an animal trainer?
No, I have a production manager that's just about pulled out her hair trying to get up.
I can't even imagine.
But she's got some really, really well-behaved, great dogs. I'm just really pleased with.
Good. That sounds like fun.
We have one that's absolutely adorable. It's a black Chihuahua. You know, about this big. That he gets carried around, and he just behaves amazingly.
Are you going to take him home with you after?
I'd like to tell him to sit on the couch, and he'll just sit there with his paws right in front of him like this for a half hour or so, just waiting. You know, and
yeah, that would be tough. Have you ever worked with animals before?
No, but I got to tell you his name. What? I mean, this is a little Chihuahua.
Right.
His name is Brutus. So
that's perfect, Brutus. Okay. Yeah. You know, killer or, you know, something scary like that.
It's certainly been an extra challenge.
Yeah, I bet.
This place. They're not in the play a whole lot because the play is, you know, a story about people.
Right,
but
right.
They certainly add a lot of interest to it.
You don't have birds, do you?
We don't have live birds. We did concede to that because of taking care of them might be a little bit
it would be
difficult. But the story is about Adonis Samaritan is the father, and it's his heart that rules the show because he takes in anyone and anything, and they have 2 house guests. One of them has been there for 7 or 8 years, called Cousin Lou.
That's not a guest.
Yes. Well, that's not the worst of it yet. And Adonis is a taxi driver, and he was taking her to go to the welfare office, and eventually just brought her home rather than taking her there, and she's stayed ever since. And she doesn't say much during the play, but the actress that does this is just wonderful because she's always with it, always aware of what's going on, and very much involved in the action and her expressions are hilarious.
That's great.
Without having to do much of anything.
That's a good actor.
And then the other house guest they have is Uncle Nemo, who has been there for 30 years.
Oh, Lord.
So, and Adonis actually accidentally hit him with his taxi 30 years before and didn't know what to do with him, brought him home, and he's had amnesia ever since, and looks like he probably ought to be in an Alzheimer's ward, but they've taken care of him. Wow. And I won't give the...
You don't give everything away.
Yeah, what actually happens during the show. But the story centers around their daughter, Alicia, who, because their home is slightly strange, she somehow has not been able to bring anybody home.
Is she a teenager or a young adult?
She's a young adult, in her early 20s, and wants to bring her prospective boyfriend, and feels that she can't in the place that they live in.
Crazy house of people.
All the conflict of trying to get this worked out so they can bring her supposed boyfriend home, and preparing the house. And in the meantime, Adonis goes out in his taxi, and another character walks in front of his taxi, and he almost hits him, and the guy holds him up with a water pistol. And they get into a fight. He knocks him out and thinks he's killed him, so he brings him home.
Oh, jeez.
So, and this is a very dysfunctional, suicidal folk singer.
Oh, great characters, huh?
Yeah, from the 60s, who ends up falling in love with the daughter, Alicia.
Oh,
and
my
all
goodness.
the things
My goodness.
that happen. It's been compared to a very well-known play, You Can't Take It With You, which is a similar storyline, a lot more characters. It's a small... This is like a small cast. You Can't Take It With You. It's very, very funny. The characters are wonderful, and I have to say the cast is wonderful.
Are they great?
I'm very, very pleased with...
Do you cast them?
Yeah, I'm the one that casts them, but at the same time, it's who is willing to do it and able to do it, and who shows up for auditions.
Because this is not a paid gig, is it?
Not really.
I mean, this is, these are people that do this for the love of acting. So what's your biggest challenge in directing a play like this, or any play? What's the hardest thing about directing? Having never done that, I can't imagine. Well,
I have a lot of creative juices that I come naturally, so that part's fun. It's knowing where to draw the line about letting the actors do their part and me do mine. You know? And
but you
to allow freedom
want to get on the stage
time.
And do it. You go, this is how you need to do it, or do you do that sometimes?
I try not to. Every once in a while, I've gone up there and just said, go here, and this is what to do.
This is what I'm looking for.
Yeah, that's I think it's been a challenge to me, because I haven't done this for many, many years.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, I haven't directed.
Well, you've acted in many,
in
productions.
many shows. Yes.
So how many plays do you think you've directed?
In the past?
Lots and lots.
.00. No. No, I've done 2 in the past.
Oh, really? So this is still fairly...
Yeah, and that was a long time ago.
Yeah. Oh, that's kind of scary, huh?
I don't know that I call it scary. I was
exciting?
Looking forward.
Exciting?
Yeah, it was exciting, and it wasn't actually what I had planned for this year, but it sort of fell into my lap, and I'm glad it did.
Good, good. Well, it's nothing like challenging yourself a little bit, huh?
Yeah, it's a challenge, and but I have thoroughly enjoyed it.
So how's it going so far? How has the audience response been?
Well, there's lots of laughs.
Good, that's good. That's what you're looking for, right?
Yeah, I put it. Let's see, in the program. Of course, I write a short little thing from the director. And I said, it reminds me of when I was growing up, which is a long time ago. But you might, no.
Yes, I would probably remember, Tim, yes.
But the comedies, the sitcoms of the 60s, which were classic for me,
my time.
And early 70s. Like Dick Van Dyke and Leave It to Beaver and Andy Griffith and things, It's almost, I've been amazed at some of the audiences because it's almost like we have this laugh track going.
Really? Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, and I mean, it's all spontaneous.
But
it all
right
just
where it
happens.
should be,
Yeah,
right?
and
Right?
they laugh and they stop. And,
You're doing
just
something
going.
right. You're doing something right then. Well, tell us what else is going on now. There's, I have a note here that something about Enchanted April.
Yeah, I should, let me give the dates.
Oh, I'm sorry,
sure.
I'm sorry. Yeah, and we will put them on the screen
Yeah.
too, I believe.
Okay, are we going to show any of the photos?
You know what, let's do that. Let's do that. Thank you,
just
because
wanted
I
to-
was going to forget. We do have a few photos from A Barrel Full of Pennies, so if we can take a look at those now. Thank you, Tim. See, I told you you're just like a co-host.
Okay.
Okay, what are we looking at here?
Okay, this is the family. This is Adonis is right in the center, played by Jim Bumgardner. And if you look closely, that's Brutus in the little blanket that he's just rescued.
Oh, how cute.
And on the right is Mina, the mother, played by Mickey Lipsy. This is a Jewish Christian Armenian family in Brooklyn. And she has a wonderful accent. She has some of the best lines in the whole play, too. And she's a great actress. In between them is Alvin, the dysfunctional folk singer, who's played by Steve Freed. And he's got some great comic timing. And he also, amazingly, actually can sing pretty well.
Oh, cool.
And on the left there is Alicia, played by Amanda Mell. And like I said, a lot of the play sort of centers around what's going on with her. She's very strong. You know, as an actor, I really have appreciated her. And in the back is Uncle Nemo, who's played by Dan Bosserman, who is a local celebrity who writes in the East County Gazette and has been but he had the ultimate commitment for this show because he actually had to lose his hair. So he actually shaved his head.
Good for him. Good for him. Hope it grows back.
Okay, and this is Mina, Mickey Lipsy with Brutus,
so cute.
and Alvin looking on in the background when they just. Let's see, Alvin has left his dog outside, tied to a dogwood tree because the dog likes flowers. And okay, this is at the other end of the play, and Alvin realizes, you know, that as much as he really thought he had found a home, you know, he's just too much for everybody to adjust to. And so he's reluctantly saying goodbye. It doesn't end that way, I'll tell you. And this is Adonis with another one of our dogs, Delilah. And like I said, they're all great dogs that do just what they are needed to do. And
that Jim Baumgartner, he was on the show, wasn't he? Didn't he come on one time and do a performance here?
No, I don't think so.
Am I mixing him up with somebody else?
Yet.
I've seen him in something.
Yeah, he's been in a number of shows.
Yeah, I've seen him in something. Well, you know what? We've talked so much, we're almost out of time. So let's talk about this other stuff so that we have the...
And this Monday night, we have our next Readers Theater. Okay. Which is Enchanted April, which is directed by Jane Fellows, who's a pretty well-known actor in the Portland area. She's right now doing On Golden Pond at Lakewood Theater in Lake Oswego with Tobias Anderson. But we're pleased to have her directing this. And this is a play that actually was taken from the movie, which came out in the 90s. From a novel that was written back in the 20s about four women going to
I saw
Italy.
The movie, actually. I haven't seen the play, but I've seen the movie. And
it's a great adaptation of the play, I mean, of the movie. So it's really
wonderful. And that's at the Gresham Chapel.
That'll be April 16th, this Monday night at 7 o'clock at the Gresham Chapel and Evening Event Center.
Yes. One time only.
$8, one time only.
Okay. And before we run out of time, tell me about the Hasty Heart.
Well, that is our following Readers Theater in May, which is May 21st, which will also be just a one-time show. And we are also doing Rabbit Hole, which is a Pulitzer Prize-winning play about a family who goes through a tragedy and the way they learn to adjust and support each other. A classic in modern theater, which is going to be at Sandy Actors Theater, and Justin Lazenby is directing that, and Kelly Lazenby is the lead in that.
And that's in June.
And that's in June.
Wonderful. Yes. Well, I can't believe we used up all that time so quickly, Tim. I know. Well, if you just wouldn't talk so darn much.
Okay, did you get the dates, though?
We got the dates, and we'll have them up on the screen, and if people want more information, they can go to the website, right? SandyActorsTheatre.org.
SandyActorsTheatre.org.
Okay, and we'll have that up on the screen. Thank you, Tim.
Okay.
You just have to be on again and tell me more, I guess.
I'm sure I will be. Okay.
Thanks so much for watching, and do go to the website, SandyActorsTheatre.org. They have a terrific company, and you're not going to want to miss these. I'm making plans to go see a barrel full of pennies myself. So please stay tuned. We'll be right back. We're going to be talking with Parkinson's Resources of Oregon.